This is A Game, fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what we got today, I got another edition of Winners Here for Black Women. Okay, I got an article to read to you guys, and we're going to get down to the bottom of why Black women are so messed up right now. And you know what? I say that not even to gloat or to be negative about it. The point of what I'm talking about today, and the point of me doing the Winter is Here, was really what has turned into a series, a periodic series, is to illustrate what we've been talking about, to illustrate what Kevin Samuels talked about more than talked about like at least a year ago or so, more than a year ago, about how winter was coming, about how things are changing in a way that Black women could not see. And so therefore they needed to, straighten up and fly right in order to prepare themselves for what was coming. And so many Black women were so flippant about it and so dismissive about it. But now many of them are seeing the reality, even if they don't want to admit that they're seeing the reality of it. So I'm going to share with you an article that was given to me, and we're going to take a look. We're going to read this article. And it says U.S. unemployment rate falls in December, but rises for Black women and Hispanic men. So read that carefully. The unemployment rate actually fell, which is a good thing, in December, but it rose for Black women and Hispanic men. The U.S. unemployment rate declined overall in December, but rose for Black women and Hispanic men, according to the latest non-farm payroll report. Black women saw unemployment increase to 5.5% last month, up 0.3 percentage points from 5.2% in November. Data from the Labor Department showed Friday. Overall, Black employment held steady at 5.7%, while unemployment rate for Black men actually declined to 5.1 from 5.4. Meanwhile, Latino men saw unemployment rise to 4% in December, an increase of 0.4 percentage points from 3.6 the prior month. The overall unemployment rate ticked up to 4.1 from 4.0. Unemployment among Latino women also ticked up to 3.7 from 3.6. Those figures buck the trend in the broader economy, which show unemployment in the U.S. fall to 3.5 from 3.7. It was 0.2 percentage points below consensus expectations from the Dow Jones. What we've really seen over the course of the last nearly 3 years since the pandemic hit is that we regained, in terms of aggregate numbers, all of the jobs lost, said Michelle Holder, a distinguished senior fellow at Washington Center for Equitable Growth. But the sort of industrial mix has changed, meaning they gained, but not from the same group of people. But the sort of industrial mix has changed and has kind of impacted what we're seeing with regard to the distribution of joblessness by gender, race, and ethnicity. And it's really disaffecting Black women and Latino men. A stronger than expected December jobs report continued to suggest a robust labor market, even as lighter than expected wage growth fans some investor hopes that inflation may be coming down. Non-farm payrolls rose by 223,000 in December, more than the Dow Jones estimate of 200,000. Meanwhile, average hourly earnings rose 0.3% for the month and gained 4.6% from a year ago. These are compared to estimates of 0.4 and 5% increases. The labor market clearly remains strong, said Elise Gold, a senior economist at the Economic Policy Institute. We are now seeing that the household survey and the payroll survey are showing similar signs of strength, and wage growth, it looks to be coming down. Still, parts of the economy where Black women are overrepresented show little improvement or fail to regain their levels from before the pandemic, according to Holder. Government employment was little changed, adding just 3,000 jobs in December. So y'all didn't get a whole lot of government jobs like you were planning to get. Notably, state government education employment dropped by 24,000 because of strikes from university employees, according to the Labor Department. Both Black women and Latino men are well represented in the leisure and hospitality sector. So both Black women and Latino men are well represented in the leisure and hospitality sector. According to Holder, the sector significantly added jobs in December, but remains below its pre-pandemic levels. Employment in the sector rose by 67,000 last month, but is still 932,000 or 5.5% below what it was in February. Those are two industries that have not recovered well during the pandemic. This is what is constraining Black women's ability to get back to the state that they were with regard to the American workforce before the pandemic. Now, I'm going to stop sharing that. Now, that was interesting for those of you who stuck around to hear that. What's interesting about that? That Black women were overrepresented in leisure and hospitality, which goes into leisure. Hospitality, we are talking about hotels, we are talking about food service, we are talking about those types of service-based employment is what we're talking about, usually tied to leisure. What did people stop doing because of the pandemic? Leisure. And a lot of people needed a lot of time to recover from bankruptcy or near bankruptcy or homelessness or near homelessness. You guys have the highest eviction rates, and this is correlating into why a lot of you have not been able to regain gainful employment since the pandemic hit and now over, and then the economy goes into recovery. See, once the economy changes or the landscape changes, Black women will not have the leverage or the opportunity that they had before. That is what Kevin Samuels was actually talking about when he was saying winter's coming, because men have foresight. They can see the writing on the wall. They are equipped to understand when the change is in the air and the changes are in the wind, and what those changes are most likely to be and what they are most likely to entail. This is the foresight of men that women often don't have, but Black women have been locked into and tricked into and had their focus switched into all of these leisure activities, all of this leisure stuff that goes away when hard times come. When there are hard times, people do not spend money on leisure activities unless you are wealthy. The working class or the poor working class do what we call tighten their belts. They stop doing all of this going out to eat and all of this traveling and the cruises and the this and the that. And they start figuring out how to do what they do on a budget or not at all, in order to preserve money for their needs rather than their wants and desires, to preserve money for the things that they need in their household, their health. They start thinking about their health care. They start thinking about their dwelling. They start thinking about their families. They start thinking about, see, hard times always turns the lost value system, where wealth and leisure is at the top. When things are easy and when there's nothing to do, wealth and leisure are at the top. But when the society changes and things become constrained, all of a sudden, these things become less important and these things become more important. A person's health, person's family, person's appearance, a person's dwelling, and a person's mobility actually become more important. So hard times will switch your value system. Difficult times, depending upon the extent of it, will create a bioculturon event where a new value system is then implemented and given birth to. Hard times, and particularly hard times, typically go from, it switches a lost value system to a 10 life value system. All of a sudden, these things at the top here, 1 through 5 and even 6, become way more important than 9 and 10. Okay? Right? So we have to keep that stuff in mind. Now, what does this do? No collective covering that Black women have, because Black women in general, Black women blew the collective covering of Black men and have been blowing it for generations now. And then they continued with the shenanigans. Once social media became this force to be reckoned with, it was Black women who were leading the charge on all of this, you know what I'm saying, debauchery online, all of this foolishness online, showing their obstinance towards Black men, showing their contempt towards Black men, displaying their misandry towards Black men, and showing a back feed to the entire world and glorifying it and reveling in all of the mischief, all of the foolishness, all of the tomfoolery, and all the craziness that they could get into, and basically not having any shame and thinking that, hey, we're going to be in this position forever. They don't see the deeper problem. Now they can't get back to the level that they were before, nor have the level of independence that they had pre-pandemic. So now here's where we get the high eviction rates. This is where we get the homelessness. This is where we get the hunger. Lots of Black women are in shelters with Section 8 vouchers and cannot find a place to stay. This is a dire situation that we warned Black women for years was on the way. We understood that Zaddy was going to snatch the rug out from under your feet. You did not believe it. You wanted to trust what Zaddy had to say. You wanted to trust the systems that Zaddy put together. How dare this chick that I talked about before, hashtag Black woman, talk about white supremacy was better to be under than the leadership of Black men. How's that white supremacy working out for you? Because what they're doing now is snatching that stuff. Those jobs became available again, but they didn't hire you. The job market is rebounding, but they're not hiring you. The economy, although changed, appears to be rebounding, except for you. All of the little handouts and the little bones and the little this and the little that they were giving you is either ineffective or they're not giving it to you anymore. Used to be a surefire thing when you got a Section 8 voucher. Now you don't. Used to be a surefire thing when you had a certain level of education and skill sets and all of that type of stuff, and you could go and get this type of job and that kind of career. And now they're just overlooking you because you got a lot of jobs in the leisure and the hospitality sector, not recovered the way that you were hoping that it would recover. So now you're in a situation where Black women in general are desperate. And now they're looking for Black men to come in and save the day. Only problem is Black men are not quite interested in saving the day, because while you were acting a fool, Black men were watching you act that fool. Okay? They were watching and listening to your behavior. They were noting your behavior both publicly and privately with them. The Manosphere happened. And most recently, to your chagrin, the passport bros have happened and are happening. Black men are deciding to become passport bros. Just get on up out of here. I don't got to save you because you're going to be ungrateful anyway. You're going to stab me in the back anyways. You're going to trade on me anyways. You're going to be disloyal with me anyways. Right? And also, not only are Black men becoming passport bros, the tables are about to turn. Where Zaddy had given Black women the upper hand economically, educationally, things of that nature, now they're going to give that edge to Black men. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? When Hulkamania run wild on you, brother, what are you going to do? I'm interested to know. Okay? Inquiring minds want to know. What happens when Black men get the upper hand economically? Because they are not relegated to the leisure and the hospitality jobs. They're men, so they can go into labor. They can go into these other jobs that women would not dare touch. So Black men aren't about to suffer in the same way and to the same level that you are. What happens when you lose your leverage? Anyways, winter's here. It's not coming, it's here. And you still don't see it. And it's sad. It's a sad situation. But anyways, on a happier note, you can go to crimsoncure.com and you are able to purchase this book at crimsoncure.com, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, the Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, which is on sale now. I've given updates as to when you guys can start expecting these things to move. I don't have a definite date for shipping, but it should be coming up within the following, I want to say, week and a half or maybe even 2, but we're going to try to make that sooner rather than later. But we're going to finish up these revisions by the end of this week. And I want to be able to show you guys a proof by next week and then have these. Then at that time, I'll be able to give you guys a definite date where shipping can begin so everyone can be able to get their hands on this wonderful work. The link to the Crimson Cure and the purchase of the book is in the description box. All right, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you've not. Once again, I'm your host of Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.